We continue our series of sealed leaks, and we talk about the Death Star 2, Endor to Death Star 2 sealed leak. And last time we talked about Premiere New Hope and Episode 1 sealed, and I'm almost finished with all my games already. Not the best record this time in Premiere New Hope. And Episode 1 was pretty successful this time, although I don't think I have that imbalanced decks. So I don't show it because I want to show you my record or something like that, but to show you the amount of games being played in the sealed leagues. So Episode 1 is pretty, pretty much played, but Premiere New Hope sealed is by far the most played seed league. And then we are talking today about Endor. Death Star 2 is not so much games being played here. So first of all, also, like the other seal leagues, you have to register here. Some time ago, you had to buy in with gold too, but some players had the feeling that some Smurf account, alt accounts were created just to play Seal League, and it's a little bit unfair to play with alt accounts in Seal Leagues because you get another draft, and maybe you have 4 accounts or something like that. Register with all 4 accounts, and then you play with the account you got Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, something like that. And so you have to register here with your GAMP name, with your real name, and then you're good to go. No gold, and you are always added to the new seal leagues. So why is this seal league not that much played than the other ones? I have some theories, because here you get a lot of you get some fixed cards, but you get a lot of packs, so it's very diverse, and everything's different. Sure, we talked about cards you look out for, and no, that's not the Seal League, that's the regular season. We talked about cards to look out for because they are coming cards and are often drafted, but sometimes you have to get creative and play some really weird stuff. Also, in Episode 1, you only get a few fixed cards, and you get a lot of packs. And here, you get a lot of fixed cards and only a few packs. So it's, on the one side, you can say, yeah, it's quite balanced, but I think it isn't. We get into that in a bit. But it's a lot less diverse, because everybody gets a starter pack which you can buy, the Death Star 2 starter pack with a fixed 60 card deck, and only a few packs, so little spice to add to your deck. And then you have to cut this 60 card deck to a 40 card deck for sealed. And not only is that a little, as I said, less diverse, also it's harder to get down to 40 cards than to get down to 40 cards by Pan Seal League, where you only have 45 good cards or 44 good cards, or even only 35 good cards, and then you add a bunch of crap cards or a bunch of high destinies just to fill in the gap. And here, so this makes deck building a little more time consuming, where you can build a competitive Premiere New Hope sealed deck in about 5 minutes. I think this will take 10 minutes, and Cube will take maybe 20 minutes to build a good deck. And yeah, so maybe this is one reason. And also, I think Dark is a little bit favored in this Seal League because you have some pilots which draw Destiny if not able to otherwise. You don't have much of that in Pan, only if you get matching pilots, but here you have them fixed. And so your only have to get to 4 or even 6 ability with light side and not with dark side. But I think it's a good starting point to start the game to get in modern Star Wars CCG, because you have the starting interrupt, which lets you start 3 effects, and you have and you have battle plan and battle order, which are shields in the open league. So it's basically a rule to the game to that you have to occupy a battleground system and a battleground site to drain for free and not have to pay 3/4. So these effects are in this sealed league. So it's good to learn, but as I said, less diverse. But on the other side, you get a 60 card deck, which you only have to cut down, and you can't have a really weak deck on the other side. So let's open the packs and let's try it out. Again, oh, we already in, so we don't have to register, but deck builder. Select this one, select. No fixed cards here at first, because you get all fixed cards from these starter packs. So this is the starter pack for dark side, the 60 card deck, the starter pack for light side. I'm not sure if all cards in these are coded to GAMP. There might 1 or 2 be missing, but then it's filled up with another card. And only 4 additional packs. So you can get really lucky and draft Lord Vader or something like that. Not here, not in Season 1, because it's Endor, but in Season 2, after 1 week, you get Death Star 2 packs, I think, and then you can draft Lord Vader. So let's see. You can get a bunch of Ewoks, a bunch of Scouts here. This is the dark side deck. So you have to cut to 40 cards again. You get a Monarch, you get a Goop. So these are usually not in these sets, but you have it here. You don't have that in episode 1 sealed. There is an effect which you can sacrifice for the same effect, but it costs 3/4 to deploy, I think. And you have weapons, and you have a Destiny 7. So we have, if somebody plays Lord Vader or has the luck, you want to include them, because you can shoot them and place them in use pile, and then you can track them to win the late game. These are the effects you get always: battle order, then combat response to get your matching pilots out. And because there are a bunch of weapons, this is a good effect too. You can satisfy 3 attrition, you can forfeit it for 3, and place your weapon in use pile. So even if you don't get to draw Destiny in space, you have always the chance to shoot the other ship, then to forfeit your weapon if he doesn't draw high enough, and to keep occupying a space for satisfying battle plan and some characters. So you can draft Insurrection or Imperial Arrest Order here in this Sealed League when you're lucky. And you have some ability to unique guys which can, which get a forfeit boost of your Insurrection or Imperial Arrest Order. You have 2 starting effects here: Combat Readiness and Prepared Defense. I would suggest playing Prepared Defense, not only because you get 3 effects, but also this lets you deploy another location. Okay, but in Sealed, as in the other Sealed Leagues too, you get a one-time battle, except Cube. In Cube you don't, but here you get a one-time battle site, battleground, not battle site, but you can pull a system or you can pull a battleground site from your reserve deck. you don't really need combat response to boost your activation. And this is the seal league where you have to worry the less, this is called in English, the less about having enough activation. Although I would include this one just, yeah, if a battle was initiated, you can draw Destiny and activate up to that much force. This is nice too, especially if you can't activate down to your 7 if you tracked it, and then you have the chance to activate a bunch more to get to your 7 with activating additional force. So yeah, this is the dark side deck with one of the best systems because of the light side decks. Yeah, you get, as in Pawn Sealed, minus to deploy, and they have to have ability 6 there, and this makes it even better that light side doesn't have much draw if not able to otherwise stuff. And the light side deck also Grimtage, Mono Counterpart, Hujix, General Solo, Akbar, which is not really worth it, I think. If you don't draft any battle Admiral's Order or another Mon Calamari, because yeah. Let's see what we get from these packs. Like Carshal, get if you draft Deuterium. So here I have to read a lot more than in Pawn Sealed, because as the other player, I don't play that very often, because you find that not very often games with it. So it's even better if more people play it. So you find games faster, then you play it more often, and then you get better. You have a lot of 2/1 sides here, which are good for activation, but you always give up a drain of 2. So you sometimes want to include maybe the backdoor, which gives up 2 activation, but gives you a drain of 2 on ground if you're strong on ground. So this is nice to have. Gives you a bonus discount on your rebels. So we might start this one with light. Another aunt. So these are all Rebel Strike Team. Never played an objective. I don't know if it's worth it here, because we need the effect, the epic event. I don't think we have that. And we limit ourselves to draining for 1 on Endor if we are not flipped, which also sucks. But yeah, let's see. We don't even know if we drafted the bunker. I always go to this point, to this view, that my cards are a little bit bigger than if I have. So I have a lot of cards here. If I want to put in shields, I make this and click all of them here. But for sealed, make it here. Like in Pawn Sealed, used interrupt, Destiny 6, best you can have. And I think this time we make it a little bit differently. I put all in, like I do in Cube. Most of the time, I only don't put in what I know I'm never gonna play. Only one Endor. Can't play that. It's not worth it. It would only be good for activation, but my Endor system without strike planning gives up 2 activation for the opponent. So usually you don't want to start with that one without strike planning to negate his force icons. And like in episode 1, my strategy there is never start with a 2-2. I put them in maybe, and this might be my only floating 0. And then I put it out if I'm sure I can hold it. So hold it back, see how much space you have, maybe a Naboo system. Wait until I draw all my ships, and then when I'm pretty sure that I can hold the system or I can win every fight in space, I put it out, and I want to drain there, and I don't want to get drained there. I'm not really sure what this interrupts does. Do I have to read it? So let's call it Death Star 2 Sealed Dream. My decks are quite a mess. I have to rename them all, I think. So then we reload it. And now it's in order. So now I can pick the cards I want to play or I don't want to play. First, let's see what we want to play for systems. So I drain only for 1 here and give up 2 activation. He can possibly drain for 2 there. So I think Sullust is the better system. Chandrilla is nice to have. This can boost our activation. So this is not a fixed system, I think. And they can drain here for 2 if they have a Star Destroyer. And there are some Star Destroyers, so it's a little bit of a little bit risky. But if I can hold it with one of my capital starships, I am pretty up in activation. It gives me 4 activation. And Solist is good too, because the starships from the opponent deploy +2 here, +1 here, which is also a big deal. So let's see. We don't want to play, don't need this one. We start with a landing side, I would say. Baspin. We can't make use of the game text of this card because there are no Cloud City sites and no Tatooine sites, so it's not really worth it for me. Don't need a 1/1. So we start with 1, we pull 1. I don't have much. Okay, scouts can move here, but Dark Side has the vehicles where it can move to. I think this time no, let's go I'm not that strong on ground and not that strong on space. I haven't drafted any big additions to the usual stuff. See, we're still here at 67 cards, and it's much more time consuming to build a deck here than the other one. So that's not that bad. There are some ATSTs in their deck, and it's a used 5. We don't need that one. So this is pretty nice to add 1 Destiny. If an Evoke is defending, we have some Evoks. I'm not really sure if they're worth it. We don't have much synergy with Evoks, I think. We might need to cut that one. Do we want to go more space? We can only drain for 1 in space. Don't think. But on ground they have the 80-80s, which are pretty strong. We have some weapons, and let's make a fun deck. Let's make almost only ground deck. We have the discount here. I'm sure there are better decks to build with this draft, but I don't want to waste all of your time here by thinking about the best option to play. So these are not bad, because opponent cannot react to the system, but I'm not pretty sure how much reacts there are. So I almost cut all my space. I let the matching pilots in, matching ships, and we have Evox here. Because, and I let the TIE bomber in because many of our weapons can be deployed on B-wing, B-bomber, and also we have weapons which we can deploy on the Y-wing and B-wing. That's pretty nice with Evox, but we haven't drafted any unique ones, and that's very nice to have with that much weapons. This would be nice if we have many non-unique rebels. We have some here, but only this, and we have to cut 9 cards. How many scouts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one we usually want to have in space. It's not a scout anyway. So I said we don't have much with, if not able to otherwise. But this one, this squadron pilot, has this game text. So it's sometimes better to place that one on one of your Y-wings than the matching pilot. Because Kian, where is he? Has not that game text, but has adds to some weapon destiny draws, but not the ones we need. And this one also doesn't have the game text if not able to otherwise. But he also adds to weapon destiny draws. So if you want to shoot someone down, you should put that one in. If you just want to draw a battle destiny, this one would be a better option. Still 8 cards. We never can hold space. So we might even don't play this one. But it's also nice to attack for free. And we won't win the train race if we have to pay to train. Let's make a non-competitive deck. One. I want to forfeit them. Yeah, must be boring to watch now. If you have suggestions, what I should put in, what I have to cut, write in the comment. Not in the comment section, but in the stream chat. I play that, I pull that, and I hope to draw that to go down there. When I'm pretty sure to win a ground there. And now let's remove all Evoke stuff because we don't have much we can benefit from. We have the good destinies here, we have the good destinies here. We can play that only on the opponent ship if he has hyperspeed, so we can't play that on some ties, which is a bit tricky because their interrupt dark maneuver can be played on any starship basically, because it doesn't add to hyperdrive. But here we not always can cycle this interrupt by playing it on the opponent ship. I think we will lose space and we will lose ground. So that's normally I would always play battle order if I have a good draft, because yeah, it lets you win every drain race if you can satisfy it. But I just want to give you an idea how to play this Seal League. So let's just 5 is good to recycle. We have no Ewok, so scan out. And this is nice, but it's this is nice to have. We have that one. So I think we have not much interrupts. We have a lot of weapons which we can use to satisfy the attrition. So let's save. And I think I'm gonna make it a little bit differently here than last time. I will put a game up, I will close the stream. This is part 1, and part 2 will be the game, because I'm not quite sure how long I have to wait until somebody joins the game.